The most dangerous move is saying nothing. Powerful people don't need to raise their voice. They just pause for 3 seconds, and suddenly everyone else starts to panic. You won't believe this. But sometimes, not responding right away is the fastest way to take control of the entire situation. While everyone rushes to speak, defend, or react, you wait, you hold, and in that silence, you flip the power dynamic without saying a word. The one who waits owns the conversation. In today's world, everyone's quick to react, quick to speak, quick to defend, quick to explode. But here's the truth, no one tells you. The one who delays their response controls the game. Not because they're scared, not because they're passive, but because they understand one powerful truth. People reveal more when they're not answered right away. That pause you give, it's not just silence, it's psychological pressure. It makes the other person question themselves. It forces them to wonder, did I say too much? Did I go too far? Why aren't they reacting? And while they spiral in uncertainty, you stay calm, composed, you regain control. In this video, I'll show you 5 psychological tactics that use the power of delayed response to shift the balance in any conversation. Whether you're facing conflict, manipulation, or high-stakes decisions. These are not just communication tricks, they're power moves, used by Stoics, elite negotiators, and people who never let others dictate their state. Let's break them down, one by one. 1. The 3-second rule. Pause before reacting to take back control. Most people don't realize this, but every reaction you make within the first 3 seconds isn't really you. It's your ego, it's your emotions, your insecurities, your survival instinct taking the wheel. Now imagine this. Someone insults you, publicly. The room goes quiet. Everyone turns to see how you'll respond. The average person? They snap back, they raise their voice, they try to win the moment. But the powerful one? They pause. 3 seconds, no words, no shift in energy, just a calm, calculated stillness. In those 3 seconds, everything changes. The person who attacked you, they start second-guessing. The audience? They sense control, dominance, without aggression. This is the 3-second rule, a simple pause that signals you are not owned by your emotions. You're not operating on autopilot. You're in full command of yourself. And people feel that. In negotiation, this pause can make the other side reveal more than they intended. In an argument, it creates psychological imbalance, because silence after tension is unsettling. And in relationships, it shows that you are not emotionally available on demand. You respond when you choose, not when you're provoked. This rule is ancient. Even Marcus Aurelius practiced it. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." A pause gives you time to change that estimate. So next time you're triggered, don't speak, don't defend. Just pause for 3 silent, powerful seconds. You'll be shocked at how much power lives in that space. 2. Dead air technique. Let silence make them speak. Here's a harsh truth most people don't realize. Silence is not empty. It's a psychological weapon, and those who fear it expose themselves first. When you leave dead air in a conversation, no reaction, no follow-up, no emotion, you create a void, and human nature hates a void. We're wired to fill silence, so when you don't respond, the other person starts scrambling, trying to explain themselves, justify, reframe, backpedal, and here's the twist. The more they talk, the more they reveal. Think about a high-stakes negotiation. One side makes an offer, The other side stays completely silent. No nodding, no expression, just eye contact and dead air. Within seconds, the speaker starts to fold. They get uncomfortable. They assume something is wrong. They offer more, add concessions, lower their guard, all because of the silence. This technique doesn't just work in business. It works in emotional conversations, in conflict, in manipulation. Someone accuses you unfairly? Don't defend. Don't rush to justify. Pause. Let the silence weigh on them. Most people expect immediate resistance. When they don't get it, they get nervous. They start doubting themselves. Did I say too much? Did I cross a line? Why aren't they reacting? And here's where power shifts. They break the silence, not you. And in doing so, they often reveal their true motive, their weakness, their insecurity. You didn't have to argue. You didn't have to raise your voice. You just let silence do the damage. Dead air is not a lack of response. It is the response, and in many cases, it's the one they never see coming. 3. Strategic confusion. Make them lose their grip. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes power is the unsettling unknown. You see, most people operate off patterns. They expect you to react a certain way, to get defensive, to explain yourself, to fight back. But when you break that pattern, when you don't respond how they expect, you trigger confusion. And confusion, my friend, is destabilizing. Strategic confusion is the art of withholding clarity, not because you're unsure, but because you want them to be. Let's break it down. Someone criticizes you. They expect you to argue. You don't. Someone sends a passive-aggressive text. They expect a heated reply. You give none. Someone demands an answer. You give them silence, or worse, delay. Now, here's what happens next. Their mind starts racing. Did they not get the message? Are they angry? Do they even care? Are they planning something? You become unreadable, and unreadable equals unmanageable. Strategic confusion puts people on edge because it robs them of predictability, and humans crave predictability. When they can't predict your behavior, they start doubting their own. This is why the most powerful people never explain everything. They give just enough. They hold the rest. Because the more ambiguous you are, the more others project their fears, hopes, and insecurities onto you. And that's where control begins. Not by reacting, but by letting them overthink your silence. This is not emotional withdrawal. This is psychological strategy. You are not disappearing. You're disrupting their control loop. Confusion isn't weakness, it's disruption. And in the right hands, it's dominance without a single raised voice. 4. Delayed emotion. Stretch the tension. Control the frame. We've been taught to believe that expressing emotion right away is honest, that immediate reaction equals authenticity. But here's what most people don't understand. Instant emotion is often unfiltered weakness, and delayed emotion, that's where power lives. Let's say someone disrespects you in a message, in person, through a subtle dig. The average person, they fire back, they defend, they prove they're hurt. But the powerful one, they don't flinch, they don't respond, they wait, they let time pass, they let the tension grow, and that silence becomes unbearable for the other person. Because here's the psychology behind it. When you don't react emotionally right away, the person who tried to provoke you becomes uncertain. Did they notice? Did it land? Why aren't they saying anything? Did I go too far? Suddenly, they're the one dealing with anxiety, not you. You've reversed the pressure, and that's the secret. Delayed emotion doesn't mean you're numb. It means you're dangerous, because now you're responding on your terms, in your timing, from your logic. not theirs. Even in relationships, this works. You don't have to explode to prove you care. You don't have to respond to every emotional trigger. Sometimes your silence is louder than any reaction. And when you finally do speak, your words carry more gravity. They land harder because they weren't said in heat. They were said with precision. That's emotional strategy. And the people who master this, they control not just conversations, but how others feel long after the moment has passed. 5. Cold logic. Pause. Reset the frame with intentional silence. Emotion is fast, logic is slow, and that's exactly why the pause is your weapon. In any intense situation, an argument, a betrayal, a high-stakes decision, the first impulse is always emotional, and that's where most people lose the game. But if you can pause, not accidentally but intentionally, you interrupt the emotional loop. You reset the frame. Here's what that looks like. Someone hits you with a verbal attack or a passive-aggressive question. You feel that heat rising in your chest. But instead of responding, you pause, you breathe, you slow the tempo of the moment. And in that space, you shift from emotional reaction to cold logic. You stop asking, "How do I feel about this?" and start asking, "What's the most strategic way to respond?" This is where Stoic mastery begins. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that's exactly what the cold logic pause gives you: power over your own response. This tactic does three things. It buys you time to think clearly. It makes others question your intentions. It shifts the power dynamic because the calmest one in the room always appears most in control. And the truth is, sometimes the most dominant move is no move at all. When you pause, you're not hesitating. You're observing, calculating, reframing the entire situation in your favor. It's not just silence, it's tactical stillness. And that stillness carries the weight of someone who isn't reacting to the world, but choosing how and when to respond on their own terms. Now you understand something most people never do. Not reacting is a power move. A delayed response isn't hesitation, it's control, it's restraint. It's you refusing to let others dictate your energy. Let's recap the 5 psychological tactics that turn silence into dominance. 1. The 3-second rule: pause before reacting to take back control. 2. Dead air technique: let silence make them speak and reveal. 3. Strategic confusion: break their pattern, make them question everything. 4. Delayed emotion: stretch the tension, reverse the pressure. 5. Cold logic: pause, reset your mind, respond with clarity, not heat. You don't have to raise your voice, you don't have to explain, you don't even have to react. Sometimes all it takes is a pause, a calculated stillness, to remind them who they're dealing with. That's what makes you dangerous. If this resonated with you, if you want to go deeper into the art of quiet control and emotional dominance, then you need to watch this next. They respect what they can't read: the psychology of mystery and quiet power. It's not just about silence. It's about becoming unreadable, untouchable, unshakable. Watch it now, and let your silence speak for you.